lost in the weekend series with Cleveland was the Royals offense. In the 3 games, the Royals had 36 hits, 19 runs, and erased one 7-run deficit. The Royals need to stay hot at the plate as they face a Cy Young and MVP winner tonight on Fox Sports Kansas City.
Royals baseball comes to you from beautiful Kauffman Stadium on a gorgeous spring day in Kansas City. The Detroit Tigers are in for a 3-game series and will send the best pitcher from last year to the mound for Game 1. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the ballpark with Rex Hudler. I'm Ryan Lefevre, and there's really no room to sit back and dwell on what happened to the Royals over the weekend because the Detroit Tigers are in town. They can score runs, too, and the Royals have to find a way to prevent the big innings.
There's no question about that, Ryan. They have got to stay out of that big inning to take the pressure off the offense that keeps coming and coming. But really, it'd be nice to get the lead and hold it. But Danny Duffy's going to have to show his magical stuff in order to get that done.
Because he's going up against Justin Verlander, and you have to assume he'll be on top of his game.
He's a beast. He's all world. He's Cy Young. He's got all those pitches. But I'll tell you what, if you're a hitter facing him, you put all that behind and you go out and look for your pitch, stay on top of the ball because he's got such a great breaking ball. You got to hit it down. He likes to throw a lot of high fly balls off of the bats. But see that record right there, 13-2. You might look at that and go, what? We're going to beat him? Hitters don't look at that. You go ahead and just approach him like you would any other starter that comes in there. Forget about his accolades, and they'll be fine.
And then Verlander supported by maybe the best 1-2 punch in the American League.
Wow, these two guys in the middle are dangerous. Not only can they pull the ball out of the ballpark, they use the whole part of the field. These two guys are entering their prime as hitters. They'll be a tough foe against Danny Duffy. You got Fielder. He's got quick hands, quick like a cat, but he's got the power. He has the natural lift in his swing to get the job done. And also, I like the way the guy hustles. But I'll tell you, Cabrera, this guy's been a natural type of hitter since he started back with the Marlins. But now he's come on to be the guy he is, and he has the ability to carry his team on his back. But good pitching outdoes good hitting, and hopefully Danny Duffy can find some holes in their swing.
It's Duffy's night tonight against the Tigers.
It's time to get more wins.
City is brought to you by the Missouri Lottery. When you play, students win. Justin Verlander was the Cy Young winner. He was the MVP last year, and now in his first 2 starts this season, he's gone at least 8 innings in both starts, but he is without a win. Danny Duffy beat the A's his first time out. Here's the Kia report for him tonight.
In order for him to miss those bats on the Tigers side over there, he must stay within himself. He's a guy who gets emotional at times, control those emotions, and most importantly, be the man out there. Go ahead and use that #1 stuff. Ned Yost told us he had it. He's got to show it tonight against these guys and right the ship.
So while the Royals will have their hands full with Verlander, if Duffy pitches like he did last week, the Tigers will have their hands full. The first pitch is next.
If you're in, let me hear you shout.
The official TV, internet, and home phone provider of the Kansas City Royals. As we're wrapping up a gorgeous spring day in Kansas City, the Detroit Tigers are in town. There's Jim Leyland, his 7th season as manager. He is 18th on the all-time wins list, and just 6 wins from 1,600 for his career. And he has a lot of options on offense when things revolve around Cabrera and Fielder.
Oh, no question about it. But what's interesting is that when you have a guy like Danny Duffy that's able to execute his pitches, he's got great stuff. Good pitching outdoes good hitting. That's what Danny will have to focus on. You don't look at their names as much as their numbers when you see big guys like this in the middle of the order. You just look at them as another guy and try to execute your spots. And if he makes his pitches, he shouldn't have any trouble with it.
And Ford will give us a look at the Royals with the leather tonight.
Okay, Mitch Meyer in center field's a good thing. This guy here, he's about ready to come out with the bat as well. He can cover the ground out there. Moustakas, Hosmer on the corners. They look good. Humberto Quintero is going to get the job to call from Danny Duffy. Put those the right fingers down is what Duffy hopes. And we're ready to go.
Inside to Austin Jackson, who's off to a fast start, batting over 400. He was second in the American League Rookie of the Year voting in 2010, but then slipped last year, and his batting average dropped down to 249.
Okay, Danny Duffy, he's going to feature a 91 to 97 mile-an-hour fastball. He'll have a 2-seamer. He'll be able to sink that ball. It's a hard sinker. You know, A nice changeup and a curve.
2-1.
A lot of things for Danny Duffy to focus on, and really it's try to take his emotions out of it a little bit, slow the game down, and remember, less is more. Sometimes he has a tendency to overdo it, although we didn't see it in Oakland his last start. He was on.
And he finished strong. He struck out 3 of the last 4 hitters that he faced in Oakland, only gave up 1 hit, and then he picked that guy off second base, Cliff Pennington. Good stuff, good tempo against the Oakland A's on Tuesday. And Jackson jolts it to deep left field, and that's his 2nd home run of the year into the water.
Okay, Duffy's going to have to stay out of the middle of the plate if he wants to keep his team in the game. That ball's right down the middle, and that's been the problem that the starters have had since they've been here at the K. Missing out over. At this level in this league, facing these premium hitters, the best in the world, you can't miss because they won't either.
And now strike to Brennan Bosch. You know, if there's a silver lining in all that, Rex, and it's a very thin silver lining, but Danny Duffy, who is still just 23 years old, last year falling behind 3 balls and 1 strike, he might have tried to reach back for a little extra, missed with ball 4. Now you got a walk. Now he's pitching out of the stretch. You got some good hitters coming up. So the final result wasn't good, but I like the fact that 3-1. Hey, if you're going to get on base, you're going to have to swing the bat.
Right, make him earn it. And that first curve there by Duffy was a little bit hard. Wants to take a little bit more off of that so he can utilize the full break in that pitch.
And Bosch, good swing. Pitch down and in the upper 90s, and he goes the other way.
Bosch is going to have a big season, if you ask me. Hitting in front of Cabrera. Pitchers are going to go right after this guy, try to keep him off the base. They don't want to give him any free passes, but he hit his way on there.
And now Miguel Cabrera, who steps in, hitting .242. He is 0 for his last 18.
Well, you look at that in 2 ways. You can say, all right, we're going to keep him down. He's cold. But then on the other side, he's due to break out. So there's 2 ways to look at that. Whether you're the hitter thinking that or you're the pitcher facing it. But this guy, though, he's not going to have too many of those streaks because he's a contact hitter with power to both fields.
And as good as he is, I asked Ned Yost before the game, I said, you know, do you look at recent trends when you think about who you're going to pitch to, or do you look at the history of the player? I mean, Miguel Cabrera has been a great player in his career. Ned said, no, you look at recent trends, and they know, Royals come into the series, they know that Cabrera is 0 for his last 18, and the guy behind him is hitting .353, and that's how you adjust game by game.
And, you know, of course, this situation here, Duffy would like to maybe get a little breaking ball, a little off-speed pitch, his change-up, and have him hit it on the ground in turn 2. That'll help him.
Three balls and no strikes.
Secondary pitches are so important at this level. Most guys have a really good fastball as it start, but you must have command and location of those off-speed pitches to be successful. Because if you're not hitting your spots with your off-speed, all you got your fastball, they'll hit it.
Miguel Cabrera last year won the American League batting title, hitting .344. He will take a walk. He also led the league in on-base percentage. And he does take the walk, and that puts 2 on with nobody out for Prince Fielder.
Okay, so I like this visit here early. Talk to Danny, settle him down a little bit. First inning's always the inning where you find out how my stuff's working and what the starting pitching has done in this homestand. Ireland's trying to calm him down and say, hey, look, let's get back in the game. Let's roll a ground ball.
Well, if the Royals play like the day we had today, they're in good shape. 64 degrees right now. Got up into the low 70s. Just a beautiful spring day. And because of all the rain, Bullpen Stadium is just green as can be. We started right on time. 7:10, time and temp, presented by the parking spot. We have airport parking covered. The parking spot at KCI.
This is a gorgeous day. Are days after storms usually like this? Well, one thing that Danny Duffy doesn't have to be too concerned about is their running game. They don't run. They have one stolen base. They just slug. And they have a premium slugger right here,
who is facing Duffy for the first time, and Danny flips a curve in for a strike two. Prince Fielder off to a good start with the Tigers. He has 2 home runs in their first 9 games, and he's hitting .353. And Quintero goes out to the mound. That would suggest that even though that was a nice curveball for a strike, maybe it wasn't the pitch that Quintero was expecting.
and the reason Getz went in there is they want to make sure they're on the same page with what signs being given. The reason that Getz needs to know that is because whoever's given the signs to each other at shortstop and second base between Escobar and Getz, they'll want to know what's hard and what's not. Look at this.
Chance for 2. Going to have to hurry, and Getz turns it, and the Royals get 2. Bosch goes to third.
Just like that. Good hard fastball on the inside. It jammed him a little bit. And Dave Island, looks like whatever he said to him worked. First man sure, second man quick. Pitcher's best friend.
Delman Young is the Tigers' DH tonight, and he takes ball 1. You know, another good spot to hit in this lineup. It's easy to point to who's hitting in front of Cabrera and Fielder, but also the guys that hit after Fielder and Cabrera, and that maybe a pitcher feels like once they get through those two guys that maybe back off just a little bit. And there's quite a few RBIs out there for number 5 and number 6 hitters. The other way, but right at Francoeur. So the leadoff home run to Jackson, but that's it. And now the Royals are coming up against Justin Verlander.
Good, Rob. Didn't realize it. Well, they do have to get after the MVP, Justin Verlander, tonight. Maybe Billy Butler has a little bit of an idea how to do that. Verlander's had Butler's number recently, but in his career, Billy's done well against Verlander. Looking at guys with a minimum of 35 at-bats, only Joe Mauer has a higher batting average in his career than Butler. I asked Kevin Seitzer, why has Billy done well against him at times? And he says, good fastball hitter, good off-speed hitter as well. You need to be exceptional at both to have a shot against Verlander. If you're only good at one of those, he will blow you away. Guys?
No question he'll blow you away. He's got exceptional stuff. What makes him so hard is he's deceptive, but he'll change speeds off of his fastball anywhere from 90 to 100. And he has the power to go 100 in the 7th or 8th later innings. But he's got a power fastball, nice curveball slider, and an excellent changeup. And his keys are to stay on that downward plane and add and subtract off his fastball.
And 91 with his first fastball of the day.
And this is the kind of guy that gets stronger as the game goes on. That's the sign of a true number one. And if runners get in scoring position, he bears down.
And a changeup is pulled into the corner by Alex. So Alex finished the Cleveland series 0 for his last 9, but off to a good start against Detroit. And the Royals have the tying runner at second base with nobody out.
Okay, Verlander is not like most guys that have a power fastball. He's a pitcher too, so it was a good piece of hitting there. Gordon, he sensed an off-speed pitch was coming and was able to wait on it, and it landed in pay dirt for him. Now Getz knows the situation here. Try to pull the ball to the right side, move him over. Get a chance to even this one up here.
And he's going to bunt. Verlander's play is to first. So right away, tying run is at third with one away.
Hey, get him on, get him over, get him in. That's what we're looking at right here.
Chris Getz 3 hits yesterday against the Cleveland Indians in the loss. Mike Moustakas had a heck of a series with the glove and at the plate. He had 5 hits against the Indians. 4 of those were doubles, and he drove in 4 runs. Eric Hosmer had 3 RBIs against Cleveland and a chance to pick one up here right away. And surprisingly, the Detroit Tigers have the infield in.
When I saw that, I went, wow, that tells me that we got a little respect for this offense here. They want to try to keep anything that's hit softly from just giving the run. They're going to make a play at the plate on it. So Hosmer, seeing that, wants to get up underneath the ball. And it shouldn't be hard because Verlander's a fly ball pitcher. But in order to beat Verlander, they want to be able to stay with a short swing. Zone him down, look down, try to stay on top of the ball because his curveball and fastball are always usually up out of the same plane.
He misses target badly there, and it's 3-0.
It's a 2-0 changeup. So that's going to tell Hosmer right away that this guy pitches backwards. Instead of a 2-0 count, which expecting a fastball, he gave him a changeup. See if he would swing over it.
And Hosmer swinging on 3-0 wasn't a great pitch. Wasn't a big surprise because if Hosmer walks, then Verlander can start thinking about a ground ball and a double play with Billy Butler coming up. Now he walks, first and third with one out.
And as this season matures and rolls along and Hosmer gets hot, he'll find that same thing, that they're not going to want to give him anything to hit. But it's up to Hosmer to realize that he has one of the premium right-handed bats sitting behind him to protect him, and Billy Butler, a guy who hits for high average, lots of doubles, and he is a run producer for him.
Well, he showed you his career numbers against Verlander. .359. That's with 39 at-bats, a couple of home runs. So he has Alex at third, Hosmer at first, and Billy trying to look for a pitch up and avoid grounding into a double play, which is exactly what Verlander wants. Not very deep into right. Bosch has a long run in. He dives and he comes up short. The Royals tie the game and everybody's safe.
That ball left the bat. I thought it was going to be deep enough for a possible sacrifice fly, but I didn't realize that it deadened like it did, and it just laid down for Billy Butler. He'll take it. That's a high fastball. I mentioned Verlander's going to throw a lot of pop-ups and fly balls. And you saw Gordon, he was reading that. He could tell that Bosch wasn't going to get to it. Good effort. Bosch was coming hard the whole way. He's playing Billy Butler a little bit deep.
So the Royals answer the Tigers with a run in the bottom of the first, and now 2 on for Jeff Francoeur, who has pretty good career numbers against Justin Verlander. Doesn't have the same number of at-bats as Billy Butler. But he's a .385 hitter, and he has a home run among his 5 hits.
This is the inning you do it. Before Verlander can figure out which pitches he's working, which ones are working for him and which ones aren't, and you get a guy like this in trouble at number 1, you must execute, because once he settles down in the game, he might be tougher to hit. So this is a big inning for the Royals here.
Hard breaking ball makes it 1 ball, 1 strike. This is the first time in his 3 starts that Verlander has given up a run in the first 8 innings. He pitched 8 scoreless innings on opening day against Boston, and 8 scoreless innings against Tampa Bay on Wednesday, and then gave up 4 runs in the 9th.
You know, typically here with 2 strikes, a lot of hitters are going to be looking for something off speed, but you know, Verlander, he's going to throw anything he has at any time. It's a guy who has confidence in all 4 pitches, so you just kind of zone a guy like this and try to stay on top of the ball. Hit it on the ground. You can recognize that curveball up around your shoulders. Better stay on top because it's coming down.
Excellent pitch. 99 miles an hour at the knees over the outside corner. That is the 2nd out.
Okay, that ball got on him in a heartbeat. Late light movement and couldn't get it swing. Couldn't get the swing going.
So it's up to Mike Moustakas with 2 outs. Got his average up to .258 after the Cleveland series. It was at .091, but he had 5 hits, 4 doubles to give him 5 on the year, and he drove in 4.
You viewers out there, if you'll watch up there the miles per hour on the pitch, you can kind of get a little idea of how he changes speeds. And sometimes it's hard to tell between a slider and a curve. Of course, his is a lot bigger a curve, but the miles per hour tells you a lot.
97 miles an hour, no balls and 2 strikes.
It's all about getting the hitter off balance. And a hitter wants to see the pitcher off balance, and he's not executing his pitches, and he can be hit. 2-out hit here would be nice.
That's the pitch that the league is trying to get Moustakas to chase with 2 strikes. Moustakas has hit safely in his last 5 games. He has Hosmer at second base, Butler at first. Butler drove in Gordon to tie the game here in the bottom of the first. Late swing, and down he goes. But the Royals come back and score against Verlander. And at the end of 1, Tigers 1, Royals 1. with a double to lead off the first inning, scored the tying run. And coming up on May 3rd, we're going to celebrate Alex's 2011 Rawlings Gold Glove Award. The first 10,000 fans receive a replica Gold Glove trophy presented by Hy-Vee. That's before the Royals take on the Yankees. Go to Royals.com for tickets. We spent some time talking about the Royals avoiding a big inning, and the Tigers had one building in the first inning after Austin Jackson homered. Then Bosch singled, Cabrera walked, but Danny Duffy buckled down, and he got Prince Fielder to ground into a double play and allowed just the one run in the first inning, and then the offense picked him up and tied it in the bottom of the first. One and two, good fastball.
Had a little bit of life on it, and he'll need some life. Now Rayburn, this guy here, he's no slouch. He doesn't look like your prototypical power hitter, but he's got some pop in his bat. Good quick hands. Can't take him lightly.
Slicing away from Francoeur and Hosmer, and it's still 1-2. Joel?
It was interesting watching Dave Island come out last inning, the pitching coach, and immediately Danny Duffy gets the double play. Last week in Oakland, we saw him in a jam, and Dave Island came out, and he got out of that jam, too. I asked Dave last week what he said to him, and he just said, stay under control, mentally and physically, and that starts in the head. He said it's one of the hardest things for a young pitcher to learn. Instead of going 100%, back down to 95%, step off when you're amped up. Learning that self-control, one of the hardest things for a pitcher to do, but Dave said, that's why I'm here.
That curveball got away from him. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And the curveball he's overthrowing. But Dave Island, he knows that all he has to do is say a couple of key things to certain guys, and he's learning this staff as he goes along in his first year here, but he likes the stuff that Duffy has, just has to harness it.
Rayburn puts a good swing on it, hits it into deep left center field. Didn't get all of it. Mitch Meyer will run it down for the out. Much better conditions for Danny Duffy tonight than Tuesday at Oakland. Remember, it rained all night, and he was pitching in the rain all night, but handled that just fine. Gave up the 1 hit in 6 innings. Royals won that game 3-0, and it was only a 7-inning game. Danny is trying to beat the Tigers for the first time. He was 0-2 against Detroit last year in 3 starts.
Speaking of conditions, it's a lot easier to play the field in the conditions tonight than it has been the first 3 games here at the K. The wind was howling. It was blowing from right field foul pole to the left. Now there's just a slight breeze that's blowing out there, and that'll make it easier on the fielders in their judgment of fly balls.
There's a good curve. 1-2.
Another good hitting shortstop here. Uses the whole field, and he's got a little pop inside. Oh man, see, that's perfectly located at 98 right there. You bring that in there like that, that makes the hitter flinch a little bit and goes, ooh, there was a little bit of hair on that, huh? I'm gonna back off. Come inside a couple inches more. That's called pitching inside for effect.
Still 2 balls and 2 strikes on Johnny Peralta.
Okay, that was his first good curveball he's thrown. Took a little bit off. He's getting his rhythm now. And the next pitch will be his 30th.
And he goes the other way. And Francoeur is going to have to run to the wall to get it. One out double for Johnny Peralta, who already has 5 doubles this year. Pretty good heat on the mound tonight. Let's take a look at the Time Warner
pitch speed comparison. 99 from Verlander, 99 from Danny Duffy. You can get downloads up to 50 megabits per second with Time Warner Cable Ultimate Internet. Now, these guys both throw hard. They both have good arms. But a little birdie told me, Rex, that the stadium gun might be about 2 to 3 miles per hour faster than the one that the Royals scouts are actually using and evaluating from.
Oh, well, fans, they like to see that miles per hour. But see, the pitchers aren't too concerned about that. If you're a young guy and you let go of a pitch and you walk off the backside of the mound and you're looking for the speed there, your focus isn't where it should be. Just keep your focus where it needs to stay.
John Wath and Art Stewart right behind home plate.
Is this guy batting here? And I'll tell you, 1 through 9, they're strong in their lineup. Alex Avila, as Jim Leland told me before the game, is a complete player.
Last year was his first full season as a starting catcher in the big leagues, and he went to the All-Star game. And it was only his 3rd full season as a professional at catcher.
Well, that'll tell you, he's a good signal caller, good catch and throw guy, but he's mixed in with a little bit of spray hitting with a little power. He's got it all.
Hit 295, 19 home runs behind the plate for the Tigers last year. They won the division by 15 games. Curveball stays high and inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Okay, deep breathing there. Exhale. That's all part of staying within yourself and controlling your emotions, what we're seeing. Slow it down.
Good fastball away. Danny's first strikeout, 2 down in the second.
Okay, he rears back. That's that life on that fastball that impresses his manager, Ned Yost, so much. And you notice where it was located, on the outer half. He couldn't get to it, wasn't in the middle.
Brandon Inge, just back from the disabled list, started the year on the DL with a left groin injury. And now just 0 for 3 playing in 1 game. And now Quintero's going to go out and talk about how they're going to attack Brandon Inge.
You know, and you see a lot of times when there's a meeting on the mound, you'll see the guys cover up their mouths with their gloves, and it's not that they have bad breath. They just don't want any lip reading going on out there with the opponents. And believe me, I used to do a lot of lip reading on the on-deck circle. You could see a guy's lips say fastball, or you could say curve, or you could see the slider. You could see them say that. So they've gotten smarter over the days, and they kind of keep their mouths covered.
Curveball for a strike. And today, and we don't intend to mess with any player's business out there, but with close-up shots and high-definition TV, you could have somebody in an opposing clubhouse lip reading, be much closer than the dugout. You can be right up in their face if you're watching it on TV. Duffy gets around a 1-out double. The Tigers defensively presented by Ford. No changes compared to last year for the Tigers, except for Brandon Inge, who's going to try and slide over and play second base. Prince Fielder is the new first baseman, and Brandon Inge, who's been a versatile player already, 5 different positions as a big leaguer, but he has never started at second base until tonight. He was a college shortstop, drafted out of Virginia Commonwealth, and the Tigers told him they wanted to make him a catcher. So he was the Tigers catcher for several years, and they got a hold of Pudge Rodriguez, and Inge moved to third base and became a very reliable defender at third for the Tigers. Very high or a fielding percentage several years over there, and now trying to slide over to second, where they have a hole. They have an opening at second base.
Well, he's a good athlete. Athletes can play anywhere, especially if you have good hands and quick feet. But also keep in mind, one of the reasons why Tigers are sitting atop of the Central right now, it's early, they're 6-3, is they've only erred one time on their defense, and their defense is airtight, and that was Cabrera at third, who really hasn't played over there in several years, but when they got Prince Fielder, they moved him over to third, and that's a tough place to play.
And on cue, Quintero hits a rope over to Cabrera, who made that play look easy with a nice short hop backhand grab. Quintero is out number 1. Let's get back to Justin Verlander. What a season last year, 24-5. And in our sprint you call it question for tonight. And Rex already talked about his pitches, his pitch arsenal, but how about his best intangible? Is it focus? Is it his pace? Is it his tenacity? Or is it just his reputation, which would mean that, you know, how many teams are beat before they even get into the batter's box because they know they're going up against Justin Verlander?
Well, up here the hitters are so hungry, you can't win on reputation. You got to execute that particular day. But I'm going to tell you that I'm going to say for myself, A and C. His focus, and the hitter can feel his tenacity. That's body language. He means business up there.
Ned Yost talked a lot about that topic before the game tonight, about how he just never gives in. I mean, he has very few bad games, but if a team is starting to get to him, it doesn't change his approach, it doesn't change his demeanor, it doesn't change his aggressiveness.
And you mentioned something there, demeanor. When some guys would get in trouble, you'd get them in trouble. Hitters look for body language signs of weakness or failure. A head down, shaking his head saying, oh, wow, I missed that one. Those type of things give the hitters the advantage. And somebody like Verlander who doesn't do that, ooh, change up. You can't read him.
That's his third strikeout, and there are 2 outs in the second inning.
You can't read that changeup grip here either. See how he holds it in his back 3 fingers. Same arm action out of the fastball, and it goes away from the hitter. That's nasty. Okay, now look, he's talking to his catcher. Did you see that? He was talking to his catcher. The hitter Escobar's head was down, and he was getting his footing in the batter's box, and he knew the hitter wasn't looking at him.
And it's 0-1 to Escobar.
Sometimes if you don't take your eye off the pitcher, he doesn't see you looking at him. You can see him tell the catcher, I want to throw a fastball here. Any little thing that'll help you on a guy like this is a benefit.
So you're saying it pays to pay attention?
Right, always. If you're digging in, I'm not going to be looking at the ground. I'm going to be looking for a little bit to get my toe hole, but I'm going to not take my eye off the pitcher. You watch his glove wiggle, you watch all that. And even you watch the muscles in his forearm, how he's gripping a pitch. He might be sit on a pitch and he might shake and he'll move, especially a guy like Verlander with no sleeves on right there. He might change his grip and you can see his forearm muscles move. Okay, he's changing it now, but he's hiding it well.
1 ball, 2 strikes. I remember when everybody was going to the split finger, it seemed that way, and pitchers were starting to give away that they're going to throw it because they had to find a way to wedge that ball in between the index and the middle finger. And then finally they just started gripping in that way, whether they were going to throw it or not, and adjust from there. 3 up, 3 down against Verlander in the second. Games this year, you can come out and support Jeff Francoeur in his new fan section, the Frenchie Quarter, and $21 gets you a seat in the right field cheering section right behind Jeff Francoeur. A limited edition Frenchie Quarter t-shirt and Mardi Gras beads for those select Thursday games. Right now, Don Miller, our cameraman out in right field, represents the entire Frenchie Quarter. You can learn more about this and other promotions at Royals.com/Frenchie. Now, we're always a little worried, Rex, when you got fans up there and they're resting their beer on that railing up above Don.
Okay.
He's had a few showers over the years, let's say. Danny Duffy, who gave up a home run to Jackson to begin the game, now strikes him out on 3 pitches. And for Danny, that's his second tonight.
Okay, he raised his eye level with a hard fastball up, and after hitting a homer on that pitch, on a fastball, he was looking for the heater and couldn't catch it.
Good fastball in on Brennan Bosch, who swung at a pretty good pitch in the first inning. A fastball that was down and in, but as they say, the inside out swing, taking a pitch that's inside and going the other way, and Bosch got a base hit into left field. He's going to stay with the hard stuff inside, and it's 0-2.
Looks like he's getting a little bit of a rhythm and timing going here. He looks comfortable.
Six pitches, 2 strikeouts. And now Danny has struck out 3 of the last 4.
He's got that kind of stuff. Fox Tracks box will show you that one was elevated in the strike zone, and that's where he's going to get a lot of guys to swing. But that's the importance of getting ahead. Strike 1, and you can start messing in with him, raising the eye level a little. Really, if his fastball gets going and he starts locating it where it should be located, he can use that pitch only.
And he's going to stay with the fastball and go right after Miguel Cabrera. So 7 pitches, all strikes. Danny has 1 walk, and that was against Cabrera in the first inning. Montero wants a curve, and it's hit on the ground to short. So Danny Duffy, an 8-pitch, all strikes, 1-2-3 third inning. We remind you, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. The Royals at the top of the order. Alex Gordon, Chris Getz, Eric Hosmer. Alex got 2 hits on Friday in the Indian series, turning around a challenging opening road trip for him, but then was hitless in games 2 and 3. And now at the beginning of this series, he doubled against Verlander and came around to score on Billy Butler's single. And it was a changeup that Alex hit into the corner. And Verlander, and this is that tenacity again, Rex, not afraid to throw that pitch again. And it's the first pitch he throws to Gordon this time around.
All right. Well, Gordon was looking for that changeup in this last at bat. That's the reason he got it, and it was up. But the Detroit Tigers defense is playing him straight up. Unlike the last team, the Indians that was here, played him to pull.
2 balls, 1 strike. Yeah, I still don't recall, and I mean, it just really stood out for me to see the Indians with the 3 infielders on the right side. I don't remember another team playing Alex that way because of his ability to hit the ball the other way. Had a good swing at a fastball, but fouled it back, 2-2.
Well, talking to Alex, he told me that he liked it. He welcomed it. And he said that, okay, you're going to do that. I'm still going to be able to recognize my pitch inside and turn on that. But I'm going to zone away. And if I see something out there away, I'm going to go ahead and go with it. My percentages of getting a hit is better.
Ooh. Nailed the inside corner, and that's Verlander's 4th strikeout. Let's bring in Jeff Montgomery to look at a couple of Verlander's strikeouts earlier in the game.
Brian, with the advantage of the Fox tracks, we're going to take a look at Jeff Francourt's first at bat here against Justin Verlander. Throws it right on the black, down and away. That was an upper 90s fastball. Now that sets up the curveball. That's not his quality curveball, but he had really kind of beat Moose because he was looking for that upper 90s fastball.
Tough adjustment as a hitter. I mean, on one hand, you have to be quick enough, Monty, to catch up to 95 to 99. But then as soon as you start speeding up, he's going to drop in that pitch anywhere from 74 to 80 miles an hour on you.
And that's his whole key, is that variety. Like Rex said in his scouting report on Justin Verlander, fastball, curveball, changeup, slider has the ability to change the velocities on that fastball, makes everything so much better, and that's why he is the ace that he is.
Monty, you weren't too shabby yourself. Did you change speeds off of your fastball?
I really didn't have the ability to change speeds. I would try to change maybe movement and location, but I was really better, honestly, when I wasn't trying to overthrow the ball. I was better at 88 than I was at 92.
Now, your slider was your pitch. Did you see guys going up there trying to sit on your slider?
Well, they did. A lot of times guys will go up sitting on the slider. Here we see Chris Getz strike out, second strikeout of the inning. But when they're sitting on this, when they sit on the slider, that makes the fastball better, especially if you can move it inside.
But your slider was so electric that they could sit on it and never hit it anyway. Isn't that right?
Well, if it's in the strike zone, Rex, as you know, if it stays in the strike zone very long, they're going to find a way to put wood on it.
You don't get 300 saves with a mediocre slider.
Exactly.
Well, he's got a strikeout, and this goes back to what Monty was showing us with the strikeouts of Francoeur and Moustakas. In this inning as well, he has a strikeout with a well-located fastball that was looking to Gordon, and a strikeout swinging at an off-speed pitch, and that was Chris Getz. Hosmer took a walk against Verlander in the first.
Well, you can see by the fact that these pitchers are starting to settle down a little bit, and they're starting to pitch their games now. And that's the difference between that first inning and now, and that's why you want to capitalize on mistakes early in that first inning before they get on track. Both Duffy and Verlander are settling in.
Changeup didn't get the call. Verlander wanted it. His body language would suggest that he put that pitch exactly where he wanted it, but Wally Bell did not call it a strike. Verlander throws out Hosmer. 3 up, 3 down, and now Verlander's retired 8 in a row.
To its bat too, because he goes hard against him every pitch. He's been hard. Yeah, let's just do the
Danny Duffy has retired 8 of the last 9, and Justin Verlander has retired the last 8. And as we discussed at the beginning of the broadcast, one thing the Royals really have to turn around, and it'll be a challenge against the Tigers in this 3-game series, is avoid the big innings. And one way to avoid big innings is to make a big pitch to a big hitter, and that's what Duffy did against Prince Fielder with 2 on and nobody out in the first inning, and he got him to ground into a double play.
You know, in my Kia scouting report tonight, Ryan, I purposely didn't put stay away from the big inning because I've been saying that, but it hasn't been happening, so I changed it up a little bit.
One ball, 2 strikes on Prince Fielder.
Now, Danny Duffy, I talked with him a couple days ago, and I said, hey, Danny, you got the Tigers coming in here in a few days. Give me your 3 keys on how you're going to beat their team. They were different than mine, but he said, execute, visualize my next pitch, stay within, try not to be better than I am. And he said, pitch smart. I got to pitch smart to beat them. Interesting. This young man, he's maturing nicely. It's going to take him a little bit of time and gain that confidence. Nice curve there.
Something I've always liked about Danny Duffy from day one is that he really gets what he needs to do to be a good major league pitcher. He's not there yet, but he understands that even when he pitches well, he needs to add another inning. He needs to have fewer pitches, get his defense off the field. Fewer pitches means he pitches deeper into games. I mean, he says things that you don't hear from 22, 23-year-olds. I mean, we went through a stretch here, Rex, where pitchers would give up 6 runs in 3 innings, and their comments after the game would be, well, I felt I made some good pitches today. Well, that's great. So did they. But Danny Duffy's the kind of guy that when he pitches well, he wants to talk about the thing that he needs to do better next time out.
Constantly trying to better himself.
He's having quite a battle here with Prince Fielder. It's still 2-2.
And he looks every bit as good as he did in Oakland in his last start. And there was a little more pressure there in Oakland because of the 100 family members he had from his hometown there near Oakland. And sometimes that'll throw you off your game, but so far so good. Maybe it can be their 5th starter, Danny Duffy, to right the ship.
He went around 4 strikeouts, and he's retired 9 of the last 10.
Okay, he's setting this off-speed breaking ball up with fastballs. And see, that gets the fielder to jump at it.
4 strikeouts. And now he'll pitch to Delman Young, who lined out to right in the first inning. And Danny's already made an adjustment within the game. Let's go to Monty and look at a couple of at-bats against Austin Jackson.
Right, if we look at the first at-bat against Jackson, he had a game plan. It was all hard. He throws him 5 fastballs, a 5th one. He gets out of the ballpark for a solo home run to lead off the ball game. So he makes a little bit of a mistake, goes to the well one too many times there, even though it was inside. Next time up, he's going to strike him out, but it's the 3rd time he's thrown this pitch after a changeup, so it makes that effect much better.
Just like you and Rex were talking about last inning, that when the hitter starts respecting your off-speed pitches, well, then the fastball is that much more effective, and Jackson couldn't get around on that high fastball.
Especially when you have the ability to blow it by the guy. And you got Quintero back there. Watch Quintero. When he wants a high strike, a swing and miss high strike from Duffy, he'll come up out of his crouch a little bit, just a little, and he'll give that high target.
And Rex, that really gives a pitcher a lot of confidence, knowing that that's a pitch that the catcher knows that is going to work.
And Monty, talk about confidence and that's the extra man you bring out there with you, both offensively and defensively. And as a pitcher, if you don't have that extra man, you're in trouble, aren't you?
And I'll tell you, part of that too is in that relationship you have with that catcher, because he's going to put down some signs. It's up to you to know exactly what the right pitch is. He's going to make recommendations. You have to execute it.
Made a good pitch on Delman Young, and then he got some help from the defense as Getz runs out into right center field, 2 down.
And more on that point with the catcher, Rex, I know oftentimes when you're getting the ball back from the catcher, you're thinking, I'm throwing a fastball here, and he puts down a curveball. Sometimes you got to call him out there just to make sure you have the confidence on why does he want to have that curveball, because you're thinking a little differently than he is. And if you have that, again, if you have that built-in rapport with the catcher, it just makes your job so much easier, and you have the confidence.
Ball 1 to Ryan Rayburn, who flied to center field in the 2nd inning.
And that's what we saw in the first and second innings. Quintero going out to talk with Duffy. So they're staying on the same page.
Monty, what do you do with this guy? Ryan Rayburn is 0 for his last 19. He's 2 for 28. You know he's dangerous, but you also know he's struggling.
Well, I think back to struggling. I think about the Cleveland Indians coming here. Don't wake them up now. Let's just let them keep struggling throughout this series. Execute your pitches, you'll keep them struggling.
Two and one.
Monty, while we still have you, when you were out there closing games down, did you look at the batter physically, look at him and check him out in the batter's box? Or did you try to just keep your eyes off of the physical hitter?
I would always make eye contact with him. I felt like if I made eye contact with the hitter, I had somewhat of an ability or an advantage to maybe see a little bit of how's he looking. Just like, oftentimes batters won't make eye contact with you. I always wanted the batter to make eye contact because for me, that was my way of telling him, step in there, I'm going to, it's man on man, let's go.
Interesting.
Hosmer runs over near the dugout suite, has to get around a security guard. And the security guard really didn't clear the area. Hosmer had a little trouble with a pop-up in that area yesterday. It wasn't hit as high as that one was. That is scored as no play. But a play that Eric Hosmer normally makes. But I wonder if he thought he was going to get tangled up with the chair or with the security guard.
Well, with that type of backspin off the right-hander's bat, it's going to bring the ball back into the playing field. He was worried about the wall. Not worried, but he was watching where he was.
Moustakas charges, throws, got him at first. Another 3-up, 3-down inning for Duffy, who's now retired 11 of the last 12. By your Mid-America Chevy dealers, the #1 selling brand in Kansas City. Find us at stlchevy.com. And by Panera Bread, 23 locations coming soon to Brookside. Visit us online at panerakansas.com. And by AT&T Mobility. AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. Well, we hope to see good pitching on both sides, and we have it so far. Both the Royals and the Tigers scored in the first inning, and now Justin Verlander has retired the last 8 Royals, while Danny Duffy has knocked down 11 of the last 12 Tigers. Billy Butler hit a bloop up the right field line that dropped just fair and beyond the reach of Brennan Bosch, who was sliding for it, and that was a
RBI single that scored Alex Gordon to tie the game. So Billy has another hit against Justin Verlander, and that makes him better than a .360 career hitter against Verlander. On the ground, right to Brandon Inge, and that's his first chance as a second baseman in the big leagues. And there is one away. Let's take a look at our Sprint You Call It question for tonight. And the biggest intangible for Justin Verlander. Rex was going with a combination of A and C, and the fans are agreeing tonight.
Well, I think that a lot of the fans, as knowledgeable as they are, they all played baseball, and so they all got a pretty good idea. And
Francoeur jumps on a hanging slider, but Jackson, one of the best center fielders in the game, hauls it in. Francoeur is 0 for 2.
Good drive by Frenchie. That was a nice stroke. He got it fully extended on it. There's a little bit too much air underneath it. You mentioned it, Jackson. He's used to covering all that ground at Comerica Park in Detroit. He can go get him.
You talking about Comerica National Park?
That's right.
That's what the players started calling it the first year it opened up, and before they moved the fences in left field. Nobody could hit a home run out of then brand new Comerica Park. Mike Moustakas showing a bunt, and now Miguel Cabrera is looking in at the Tigers dugout, wondering if he should play in. They're going to tell him to stay deep on the left side.
That's Rafael Belliard's job as a coach for the Tigers. He's the infield guy.
0-2.
You know, talking about Brandon Inge and playing, there's Belliard there. Guy played 17 years in the majors as a shortstop and a utility guy. Belliard. Inge, the toughest thing he'll have to do is know who's running and turning that double play your first day at second base. Now, he's worked out in practice and he's done that and he's done all that stuff there, but you know, until you get game speed and you turn one to get some confidence, that'll be a question mark for him. You get a guy like Gordon or Moose or somebody who's going to go down there and slide and knock him down, he'll make him a little nervous.
Verlander has struck out 6. He's retired 11 in a row. We're still tied at 1. Has retired 11 of the last 12. Got some help from his defense for the final out of the 4th.
Okay, you young first baseman out there, watch how Hosmer turns this ball into a marshmallow, makes it soft. Watch his elbow position. Glove down, elbow straight, pulls his elbow straight up. That softens the glove and is able to get that ball in there and hold it. He just brings his glove straight up, so that's glove straight down and pull up with your elbow. on a ball like that. Instead of going out and trying to stab it and push it and pick it, the ball will come out. That's how you make it soft. The ball doesn't bounce out.
That's our first Mazda replay for tonight. Johnny Peralta was the last Tiger to reach against Danny Duffy. Hit a 1-out double in the second inning, and now Duffy's retired 8 straight. That was Peralta's 5th double of the year.
Ryan, it's such a blessing for many reasons to be a broadcaster, but teaching the game to the young players that are watching is what's most fun. By learning and watching how these guys make their plays, they can teach us a lot. They're the world's greatest, and they make it look easy, and it's hard. And so to be able to see that, and Moustakas is coming in hard and fielding off his left foot, throwing off of his right foot, that's all fundamental baseball that you learn in Little League.
Still 1 ball, 2 strikes, and I think Moustakas and Escobar and Getz and whoever's on the infield has confidence that the throw doesn't have to be perfect to first base, because Eric Hosmer just saves one error after another.
Well, there's a lot of truth to that. Playing with Donnie Mattingly at first base, had really soft hands, and he didn't care where the ball was. He was going to make the play. Galarraga was really good at first base. They called him the Grande Gato because he could move. He was a cat. He was big, but he was, and that gives those guys confidence out there. And being a Cardinal, when Pedro Guerrero played first base, and nothing against Pedro, but he wasn't a first baseman, you had to throw the ball right to him, or he would just let it go. He would just watch it sail over his head. And I felt sorry for Ozzie Smith, as great as he was, to have to throw to a guy that really didn't make much of an effort for the ball.
Peralta is going to have another extra base hit. So after 4 straight foul balls and being down in the count, that's his 2nd double tonight and his 6th of the year. Well, we hope to come out to the ballpark on Friday. The Royals are taking on the Blue Jays, and it's our first Buck Night of the year. Hot dogs, peanuts, and soft drinks are just $1. And then after the game, our first Friday night fireworks presented by Hy-Vee and Pepsi. Go to Royals.com or call 1-800-6-ROYALS for tickets. So Peralta doubled in the 2nd. Duffy retired 8 in a row, and now Peralta doubles in the 5th for Alex Avila, and Danny struck him out with a fastball in the 2nd inning. It is a swing.
Okay, and Duffy and Quintero know the situation here. With nobody out, a runner at second, Avila's going to try to pull the ball over. Well, sometimes you'll come in really, really in, so he can't get his hands out, and then you'll work him away, hoping he hits the ball to the left side and he can't advance the runner.
One and one.
And so the base runner Peralta at second base doesn't give away location. Quintero will move when the pitch is thrown. He'll move where he wants it. Everybody's eyes are on the catcher.
1 ball, 2 strikes. So Duffy continues to stay ahead of the hitters.
So we spend a little bit of time talking about what hitters look for. If they can pick anything off the pitcher's glove, his lips, talking, lip reading, any advantage a hitter can get, because it's so hard. It's hard to hit. So a hitter's out there looking, and if he can get some help from his guy at second base, they'll do it.
Curveball. Buckles Avila and strikes him out.
Excellent curveball. Fox Tracks will show you this, baby. Starts out, he says that's not going to be a strike, but the bite on it and the nice arc to the curve, tight break, froze him.
5 strikeouts for Duffy, 6 for Verlander. And that curveball is inside to Brandon Inge, who flied out in the second inning. In a span of 10 batters, with Inge being the 10th right now, of the last 10 batters, Danny Duffy has been behind in the count only twice. Meyer to the track, at the wall, and Brandon Inge takes him deep to center field. So one of the few hitters he has fallen behind, and it was just 1 ball and no strikes. It wasn't 2-0, 2-1, or 3-1, but Inge had a good swing on a pitch up and hits his first home run of the year.
This is his first hit of the year. So that was your number 9 hitter. That'll tell you how strong American League lineups are, 1 through 9. Ball was hit to the opposite field with some authority. Got underneath it. No wind-blown ball that was.
Well, Monty was talking with us last inning about the adjustment that Danny Duffy made against Austin Jackson. Now we'll see if Jackson has a counter adjust. Jackson led off the game with a home run to left field, and Duffy struck him out, and now Duffy going off speed, and Jackson plops it into left field. But look at Alex Gordon with a full body dive and maybe a face plant, but he makes the catch to get Jackson.
Jackson already home, or you take a step back first when he hits a ball like that off the end. And he's able to come in and listen to this Kauffman crowd who love that effort. Ooh. Yeah, that's a face plant.
Yeah, watch his face. Looks like he was stunned for a moment.
Ooh, man, I'm telling you what. Heads groundskeeper here, Trevor Vance, in his 18th season, has that Kauffman grass conditioned beautifully for that taste that Gordon just took there. Nice effort. And that's what happened. He took a step back because of the power of Jackson, but then he had to hustle back in.
One and one on Brennan Bosch. Single to left field in the first inning. Struck out in the third, but by the look of all of his swings tonight against Duffy, he looks intent on going the other way. Chased a pitch that was not a strike, and Danny's ahead 1-2. Straightaway center field. Meyer makes the catch. Inge hits a 2-run home run to put the Tigers in front 3-1. got on a roll. Brandon Inns jumped on a mistake to give the Tigers a lead, and now the Royals hope for the same thing against Verlander.
That's right. You know what? You may not be able to get a long ball off of Verlander, but by golly, if you get a man on, see Ned Yost, go ahead and go to some small ball. Maybe advance the runners, move them, start them, hit and run, bunt, any way you can do it to try to get back in this. But when an ace gets a couple runs on you, you'll have to pick your spots to get him.
That's why every team wants power, because the way Danny Duffy was going, chances were pretty slim that the Tigers were going to string together 4 or 5 hits in a row to score a couple of runs. But when you have power, all you need is one mistake, and one mistake in a flash can turn into 2 runs. And now the Royals can just hope for some mistakes from Verlander, 2 balls and no strikes from Quintero, and hope that he leaves one out over the plate. He has not given up a home run yet in over 20 innings, but he has given up 3 hits tonight. He had retired 11 in a row, and now Quintero snaps that. He is 1 for 2. Let's bring in Joe Goldberg.
Ryan, I got a tweet today from a fan wondering why the closer was batting 8th. I mentioned that to Mitch Meyer, who did pitch yesterday, and Mitch said, no chance. You guys do not want to see that, meaning him pitching again. He's now pitched twice, not allowed to run, once last year, once this year. He told me that last year he was really nervous, but it was really cool to be able to go in and do that for the first time in his career, and it was at Fenway Park. He said yesterday, no nerves, but it was more business-like. Just go in there, get the guys out. If I give up a run, so be it. He said his only goal yesterday was to make sure that he protected the bullpen and that no one got in there, and he said he hopes it never happens again. Plus, if he doesn't get in again, he'll lead the team in ERA for the 2nd straight year.
No balls and 2 strikes. Ned Yost said before the game that in trying to decide who the emergency pitcher is going to be, he wants the smartest guy. I thought that was interesting. He doesn't want a guy out there who's going to try and throw 100 miles an hour, throwing curveballs and sliders and hurt his arm. Just someone who's going to be smart. Just put the ball over the plate, let the guys hit it, and just hope they hit it at one of the Royals.
There's been some players that went in there to try to throw it hard and impress their guys and ended up having some arm problems later in their career.
Jose Canseco, remember he had the Tommy John surgery after pitching.
And Paul O'Neill, he went in there and tried to throw it, crank it up, and he said he never threw the same after.
That's over Inge, and the Royals come right back with 2 on and nobody out.
Good job of waiting back by Meyer on that. Just kind of kept his hands back, the ball hung up in the air. That's taking advantage of a mislocated offering. There it is. See it? Stayed up in the zone. Didn't barrel it, but he got enough on it. Now with nobody out, they got a little something going with Escobar up. And they might just ask him to bunt him over, sacrifice, give himself up. It won't be easy, especially in this situation. Verlander now, he's looking at Cabrera at third base saying, okay, I got the line, you take the bag. So they're expecting him to bunt.
And he fouls the bunt away. I think against a lesser pitcher this early in the game, you're down by 2, you have 2 on, nobody out, and you shoot for a big inning. But against Verlander in a big inning, that's a mountain.
That's what we just talked about, how Ned Yost is going to have to be creative to find ways to crack Verlander, the ace, the MVP, the Cy Young guy. And so he's going to do little things here, and it's important for Escobar to get the ball down right here. You want to do it on the very first pitch, but it's hard to bunt that fastball. So Cabrera's staying home, fielder's charging, so you want to bunt it to third if you can. And Verlander knows the fastball is the hardest one to bunt, so he's going to stay hard on him. If he doesn't, it's a favor.
And he gets a bunt down, but Verlander jumps on it quickly, and the Tigers get the force at third base. Right direction, just not close enough to the line.
That's how hard it is to try to guide that ball coming in at that velocity. So it was a tough task. And Verlander, before he even threw a pitch to Escobar, he looked at Cabrera and said, I got the line, you stay at home. So it was designed for that. He was going to come over and get anything he could.
And you know, you mentioned, Rex, that you want to get the first pitch down because even though it's a, quote, bunt situation, Tigers don't know for sure if he's going to lay down a bunt. But if you foul the first bunt away, now they know, and now Verlander and everybody else can start to think through their minds, okay, he's going to bunt. Now you take the question out of the play, and they can go after it a little bit more aggressively, right?
Right, and also it makes it harder for the bunter to bunt the second one, too, because you want to get it out of the way. So first pitch, always be ready to bunt that down. Don't be up there taking it or pulling it back. Just get her down.
And now it's 2-0 to Alex. Led off the first inning with a double into the right field corner. Billy Butler drove him in. That tied the game at 1. Tigers just got a 2-run home run from Brandon Inge in the top of the 5th inning.
Okay, don't expect a fastball 2-0 like he gave Quintero with a runner in scoring position. He did.
With movement.
And Alex couldn't hold back. But it wasn't down the middle. Now he's asking, can I blow on my hand?
Well, that rule was changed last year. You can go, I believe you can go to you can blow into your hand whenever you want. The rule would be that you cannot go to your mouth while you're on the dirt of the mound unless in a special circumstance the umpires on a cold day would allow pitchers to do that. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Pull the string with a changeup there. So with 2 strikes here, Gordon just wants to kind of zone him and try to keep his swing short. Make some contact out there. Meyer runs well at second.
And they're running. And the pitch is fumbled by Avila, and the Royals end up with a double steal.
Avila, he tried to jump out from behind there and make the throw, but he couldn't get a handle on the ball.
The Royals would love a hit to drive in 2 runs, but now they can get a run with a well-placed out. Foul tip, and Alex strikes out, and that's 7 for Verlander, and the second time he has gotten Alex.
We talked about the ability to change speeds off of his fastball. Anywhere from 90 to 100, and there it was. He went on up and gave it all he's got, 100 miles an hour, and lots of times that'll happen. Right down the middle even. Blows it by the guys.
And now Getz, who bunted his first time up, struck out in the 3rd inning. That rights outside for ball 1.
You almost would rather face a swing and miss type of hitter than Getz right here. Getz is a guy that's going to put the ball in play. He's going to hit, try to just make some contact. Verlander wants a guy that's going to swing and miss, but I don't know if he has that in Getz. Getz is a guy who makes contact. Kind of a slap hitter, although he's driving the ball more this spring. 3 hits yesterday.
Called a strike, but Verlander, I think, would have preferred Getz to swing at that pitch and roll it over. So a good job by Getz to not pull the trigger and look for something a little more hittable. Off the fist, and Inge runs it down behind the bag. 2 hits, no runs, couple of stolen bases, but the Royals come up empty against Verlander in the 5th.
and to try to hold down the Tigers with just 5 hits and 3 runs, but he wouldn't be able to do it without this great defense sponsored by Mazda. It was an outstanding play by Getz. He was able to break back on that ball. How about Moose? He makes that play, but he loves to hear the crowd chant his name. And look at that guy, Alex Gordon, doing a face plant out there, making an outstanding grab, and Danny Duffy loved it. You got to have that kind of action behind you in order to win a game and beat a good guy like Verlander. Steady as she goes. Not going to have too many opportunities to be able to get to a #1 ace like that, like they had that last inning. If they're going to beat him, they got to come through and get the big hit, even though it's very difficult.
Third time through the order, and it's Cabrera, Fielder, and Young. And they are a combined 0 for 5. Just missed outside. It's 2-1. Cabrera walked in the first, and that's Danny's only walk. And you got a veteran team up there, and you have guys who aren't afraid to take walks and will make a young pitcher throw the ball over the plate. But Danny's just been pounding the strike zone tonight. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Cabrera. 1 walk to go with 5 strikeouts. Challenge him with a fastball, and it's still 2-2.
Well, Cabrera, he's what you call a natural born hitter. He was as good a hitter as he is today as he was when he first started his career. And he's very quiet. He barely gets on his left toe, his lead foot. It's very soft. It's like stepping on eggshells. And he doesn't jump out too far. The key to good hitting is to be able to have the ability to wait back. And Cabrera does that, as that was Danny's 91st pitch thrown.
He's only had 1 real quick inning. That was the 3rd, but he also hasn't had an inning with a huge number of pitches. 20 is the most, and that was in the 4th. And now he strikes out Cabrera. And Miguel Cabrera is now 0 for his last 20. I didn't know that was possible.
I didn't either. He looks comfortable. You couldn't tell, but see, he picked up that foot and tried to do too much with it. And when you're in a slump like that, tendency is that you try too hard. He swung on a pitch that he really didn't want to. If he's going good, he lets that one go.
Prince Fielder goes the other way, but it slices back into Gordon, and there are 2 outs. And Fielder is 0 for 3. Coming out to the ballpark on Saturday, you'll get a giveaway that is a blast from the past. The first 20,000 fans receive a Royals 80s retro batting practice jersey presented by Fox Sports Kansas City. For tickets, go to royals.com/promotions or call 1-800-6-ROYALS. Delman Young did not swing. According to first base umpire Mark Wegner, he is lined to right, and we just saw a highlight from his pop up to second base that Chris Getz ran down in the 4th. That's a strike, and it's 1-1. We can't call this a long outing yet, as Danny is trying to give the Royals 6 innings, but this is a big lift for the rotation and the bullpen, for that matter, on this homestand. Danny at 5 2/3 innings. This is the first time a starter on the homestand has gone more than 4 innings.
A much more comfortable game. It's nice to see the offense not have to panic to come back.
7 strikeouts and 2 in the 6th inning. The Royals are down by 2.
Francoeur coming up in our Sonic Slam inning. Our contestant is Suzanne Ward from Kearney, Missouri. And if the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Suzanne wins $800. If the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Suzanne wins $25 grand from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals. Justin Verlander pitching with a 3-1 lead. The Royals scored in the first. Billy Butler's single scored Alex Gordon. Verlander has 7 strikeouts, 1 walk. Same as Danny Duffy, 7 strikeouts and 1 walk. And Verlander's walk came against Hosmer in the first inning, and Hosmer is also grounded back to the mound.
And Ryan, if the Royals load him up and a grand slam is hit off of Verlander, I'll pay Susan Ward $800 on top of that.
Wow. Oh my.
So add it
so
up.
It's $1,600. Busted bat, and Cabrera made a nice play. Came in, made an off-balance throw against a big guy who runs well. So there's 1 away in the 6th inning. Hosmer is 0 for 2.
They wouldn't have acquired that guy there, Prince Fielder, had they not believed that Cabrera couldn't play third base. That was his original position a long time ago for Cabrera, and he played there, and he's comfortable there, and he's getting better. And remember, this team has only aired 1 time in all these games so far early this season, and it was his air, but he's proud of himself. You see that? He takes pride in his defense.
And if you look closely, you can see a little mark under his right eye. He was hit on the eye in spring training by a ground ball, and he missed a chunk of games because of that. And he admitted that the one error that he's made this year, he was thinking about the ball that went off of his eye. Billy lines out to right, and he's 1 for 3 against Verlander tonight. But Tigers say that Miguel Cabrera trimmed down, and he worked hard every single day to get those third base skills back.
It's a lot of work.
Our AT&T trivia question. We ask you who are the only 3 pitchers ever to win the MVP award, the Cy Young award, and lead their league in strikeouts in the same year. Or we can take it a step further. How about winning the Triple Crown, the pitching Triple Crown in the same year? That's leading the league in strikeouts, leading the league in wins, and leading the league in ERA. Only 3 in history. 0-2 on Jeff Francoeur. We'll even give you some options.
Well, that's helpful because if it's only been done 3 times, that ain't very many.
Well, I'm gonna eliminate Willie Hernandez because he was a reliever. So if he led the league in strikeouts, that was some year.
But he was an MVP.
Raleigh Fingers would fall in the same category. Dennis Eckersley would fall in the same category. They might have won, which Dennis Eckersley did. He won MVP and Cy Young in '92. Thank you, Rex. That's the 8th strikeout tonight for Verlander, who has not allowed a run since the first inning. Fox Sports Kansas City is brought to you by your Midwest Ford dealers. By AT&T Uverse, the new wireless receiver from AT&T Uverse. Visit AT&T.com/free-your-TV. And by Steel. Find a helpful servicing Steel dealer near you. Visit steeldealers.com. Moustakis handles a sharp two-hopper from Ryan Rayburn, and Danny Duffy, who's trying to give the Royals 7 innings for the first time this year, has Rayburn on 1 pitch. Rayburn is 0 for 3, and let's bring back in Jeff Montgomery. That's exactly what Duffy needs this late in the game and coming up on 100 pitches.
Yeah, that's really nice to see. Going back to the last inning against Miguel Cabrera, it took 7 pitches for him to get the strikeout to extend that hitless streak for Cabrera to 0 for 20. We're going to take a look at some of those pitches here on Fox Tracks.
Danny has only given up 5 hits tonight, but 2 have been to Johnny Peralta, and both are doubles. That'll be out of play. Let's go back to Monty.
And right here we go. We're going to see a lot of variety here. We'll see a changeup to lead things off. Comes back with a couple fastballs. Gets him off the plate a little bit inside. Nice fastball away. He's now shown 3 different velocities. Another changeup. Come back with another fastball. Here's that nice hook he's got for a ball. And he ends up finishing him off with a changeup for a strikeout.
1 ball and 2 strikes now on Johnny Peralta, and all those pitches that you were talking about, Monty, none of them were right in the middle of Fox Tracks.
Yeah, and that's really been the key for Danny. When he's unpredictable, in other words, if he's using both sides of the plate, adding, subtracting, that's what makes him effective.
And that's the evolution of learning how to pitch and not throw.
Well, and again, for a young pitcher like a Danny Duff, it's very important for him to have the ability to subtract at times. Oftentimes, the young pitchers, they always want to add. They want to throw hard. But sometimes taking a little off will make that fastball even better.
No swing. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Peralta. Danny is at 102 pitches. Aaron Crow is warming up in the Royals left field bullpen. Johnny Peralta is 3 for 3.
It's okay. That's what you want to do. Make him earn his way. Give him a free pass. Nobody on base. Go ahead. That ball was a little bit elevated. That's how he was able to get the ball to left field and up.
And now Alex Avila, he has struck out twice against Duffy. Swinging at a fastball in the 2nd, looking at a curveball in the 5th. Duffy has 7 strikeouts. Justin Verlander has 8. Danny Duffy has 1 walk all night, and that was back in the 1st inning.
Ned Yost has to be proud of what he's done so far. He's been able to, like you said, limit the walks, limit the beginning. He's got a good rhythm, good tempo. His emotions have been controlled.
Throw down to first, not in time, but it's 0-2 on Avila. Off the knuckles, and he's able to muscle it into right field. Peralta is going to try to go to third on Frank Coor, and that was a poor decision.
And that was all Gene Lamont, third base coach. Peralta did what he was supposed to do, get towards second base, pick up the third base coach. Gene Lamont was waving him on, and Frank Coor says, "Thank you. I've been waiting to hose somebody out all year long." Right on the money. 1 hopper right to Moose. Got him by plenty. Now watch Peralta. He's going to check the third base coach right now. He's looking. They're waving him home, or waving him to third base. Dead end. Duffy says, nice job, and I'm sure Ned Yost is saying the same thing to him right now.
It will be Aaron Crow to face Brandon Inge. Danny Duffy comes off to a big ovation here at Kauffman Stadium. Thirds innings and earned the congratulations from his manager Ned Yost, and a Chevy call to the bullpen brings Aaron Crow in to face Brandon Inge. Aaron last pitched on Saturday, made Inge look bad on that swing, but Inge had a good swing against Danny Duffy in the 5th inning and hit a 2-run home run to center field, and right now that's the difference in the game. The Tigers got one in the first, the Royals got one in the first. And then Inge with the 2-run home run in the 5th. And Brandon Inge, like a lot of hitters in the American League, have a tough time picking up Aaron Crow's slider.
Right, and both sliders he's thrown haven't even been in the zone. But he's got a powerful fastball, mid to upper 90s, and that slider. And he's tough to hit.
So 3 pitches, and Crow takes care of Inge. Stretch time at Kauffman Stadium. Royals are down 3-1.
delicious Miller Lite. You want to know a little bit about Danny Duffy? You saw his pitches. How about his enthusiasm, his passion? This guy, no wonder they say control your emotions, but he can't help it there. All those great plays that were made behind him earns the handshake of the skipper, Ned Yost.
And for the Royals, that's a season high 6 2/3 innings from Danny Duffy, and boy did they need it tonight. After, as we mentioned earlier, no Royals starter went more than 4 innings in the weekend series with the Cleveland Indians. 3 earned runs, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts in 6 2/3. Back to Verlander, who will throw out Mike Moustakas, and Moustakas is 0 for 3. Only 3 in Major League history as a pitcher have won MVP, Cy Young, and have led the league in strikeouts, or won the pitcher's triple crown: wins, ERA, and strikeouts. You want to take a shot at it, Rex? We've eliminated some.
It's a tough one here. I got to credit our guy in the truck, Al Broughton, for making up this one here. I don't think he made it up, but it's too hard.
Well, let's take another look, if we can, at our choices here, because there were some that were just impossible selections, like some of the relief pitchers, right? Couldn't have been Raleigh Fingers, Willie Hernandez, or Dennis Eckersley. Okay. We always start within the house, Rex. So you might want to consider that. One ball and 1 strike to Humberto Quintero.
So Al likes to do the trivia around somebody like that great who's in the house.
Right. I haven't seen Sandy Koufax around tonight, nor have I seen Bob Gibson, but I've seen Justin Verlander. Pretty good company,
I'll say.
Justin Verlander was 24-5, and it was a debate that went on and on in the second half of the year. Should a pitcher win the MVP when there is already an award designed for the best pitcher, the Cy Young Award? And almost all of the time, there are exceptions, the MVP goes to a position player, but on the rare occasion, so rare that Verlander was the first since 1992 to win Cy Young and MVP. Dennis Eckersley did that for the A's in '92. One hop out to Johnny Peralta. 2 down in the 7th inning. Quintero is 1 for 3. Remember to bring the kids to Kauffman Stadium for every family fun day Sunday. They'll enjoy face painters, balloon artists, kids entertainment by Radio Disney, and much more. Sundays at the ballpark is your family destination. Go to Royals.com/Sunday for more information and for tickets. The last starting pitcher to win the Cy Young Award and MVP was the pitcher that Justin Verlander grew up admiring the most. That was Roger Clemens in 1986 for the Boston Red Sox. Jackson can't quite make the play. Meyer has his second hit tonight against Verlander, and he's at first with 2 outs.
He'll take it. Now, in Verlander's first 2 starts of the year, he hasn't come out with a win, but he's gone 8 innings. In his last one, 8 1/3, but he gave up some runs in that 8th inning. So, look, that was the Tampa Bay Rays. The Royals are not going to give up. They're going to keep doinking away here, and you never know. One long ball could get them right back there where they want to be. Okay, there's some very quick-footed move by their right-hander Verlander. He's got quick feet. He's agile. He's a good athlete. But he just showed right there that Mitch Myers, don't get too far off. I'll pick you off. You barely even see that.
And he had Meyer flinching that time, but Mitch is able to get back before the throw.
What's so deceptive is he doesn't even get in his stretch yet when he does that move. So he's caught a lot of guys sleeping.
Ball 1 to Alcides Escobar.
Okay, Verlander wanted that. Didn't get it. Wally Bell says no.
Look out. That foul ball hit one of the Royals vendors who's smiling, and we're happy about that. But that's the lemonade vendor, frozen lemonade.
All right. Never know. Guy's working hard for a living. Takes it squarely.
And he hung on to the lemonade.
He's a guy that needs a raise.
Cabrera plays it right at the bag and throws over to Fielder to end the inning. So at the end of 7, Verlander and the Tigers lead 3-1.
Back at Kauffman Stadium as Panera takes us around the league. Patriots stay in Boston, and the Tampa Bay Rays end a 4-game losing streak with a 1-0 win. You see Chicago on top of Baltimore, and Oakland and Los Angeles underway. A light day in the American League, except for a little fighting going on, guys, between Kevin Youkilis and Bobby Valentine. Ho-hum.
Yeah, how about that? Saying that he didn't think that Youkilis was physically and emotionally into the game.
That's why your comments have to be well thought out anywhere when you're in that business there of being a manager, when it's in regards to your players.
I think the comment that was the most stinging out of all of them is that after Valentine made his initial comments about Youkilis, then the reporters started to ask around to some of Youkilis' teammates about, what are their feelings about how Youkilis is going at it the first week and a half or so in the season, and asked Dustin Pedroia, who's the emotional leader of that team, if he thought that maybe Bobby Valentine was doing that to motivate Kevin Youkilis, and Dustin Pedroia said maybe that worked in Japan, where Bobby Valentine managed before coming back to the United States.
That's not how we do things around here.
Whoa.
That's pretty strong coming back from your player.
Well, Rex, you've obviously played in both places, the States and Japan, but let's be honest here. One, the Red Sox knew what they were getting. Bobby Valentine is a guy that speaks his mind, but that is also a team that is under the microscope in Boston, and it is a team with a lot of veterans that haven't had to deal with a manager like that.
Right, they had a manager in Terry Francona that had their back all the time.
Jackson was running, and that's good timing for the Tigers. Otherwise, Royals might turn a double play. So Jackson's at second base with 1 out. Brennan Bosch is 1 for 4.
And Terry Francona, I played for him in Philadelphia when he first started managing there. And I I can tell you that that guy loves his players. He would do anything for his players, and he would back them, and he did in Boston to a fault, but look how they responded for him. Didn't win one, but two World Championships.
That pitch crossed up Quintero. He was not expecting a fastball. And that thing might have gotten him on the wrist. And remember, it was just a couple of days ago where Quintero took a foul ball off of his right hand, his wrist, his thumb. Okay, this one got him on the, maybe left thigh.
And Ryan, I actually talked to Umberto about that, or as they call him, Q, the other day, and he said that that ball actually ricocheted off of the knob of the bat before it hit right around his finger and thumb area. Said it wasn't as bad as maybe some people feared, and of course he's a tough catcher, so he just said no big deal, I'll be okay, but probably didn't hurt him all that much that it ricocheted off the knob first.
It's part of the position. They all know it, and most of those guys are tough as nails. They hurt when at times when you didn't think it hurt them. They're good at masking the pain. And even with all that padding on, they still get hit.
Cabrera chops it to Moustakas, who looks the runner back and throws out Cabrera, who's 0 for 3 and now 0 for his last 21. Tonight's copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Kansas City Royals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals. Ryan Lefevre, Rex Hudler, Joel Goldberg, with director Steve Kurtenbach, producer Joe Lavero, our associate producers Al Broughton, Sam Abramson, and the rest of our outstanding Fox Sports Kansas City crew on a gorgeous spring night. The Royals, even though Prince Fielder is 0 for 3, aren't going to mess with him, and this is where you get back to the team meetings before the series begins, and you ask yourself, if a situation like this comes up, do we want to give Prince Fielder the chance to beat us, or are we going to make Delmon Young beat us?
Nope. Logical choice. With 2 outs and a base open, do exactly what you're doing.
So 2 on and 2 out for Delmon Young, who was 0 for 3 against Danny Duffy. Against Aaron Crow in the past, he is 0 for 4. 0-1.
When Duffy's slider is on, it's unhittable. Started that one in the perfect spot. Middle away, and ended up out of the zone. Just got a piece of it. Was Young.
Detroit Tigers are 3rd in the American League in runs scored, and they have been particularly dangerous late in games. Tonight they have 1 run in the first, 2 in the 5th. The Royals want to hold him right there. And they will, as Hosmer plays it at the bag. 2 walks, 2 left on base. Royals coming up down 3-1.
At Kauffman Stadium, Joel Goldberg, Jeff Montgomery getting ready for Boulevard Royals Live after the game, where we will dissect the pitching performances of Justin Verlander and Danny Duffy. Duffy doing a great job against Cabrera and Fielder, and we will start to get you ready for tomorrow's pitching matchup. Drew Smiley, Bruce Chen. I'd have to look at Alex Gordon's catch another 1, 2, or 3 times as well. Guys?
Okay, Joel, and now the Royals are 4th time through the order against Justin Verlander. First 3 times, Royals came up with 1 run, 5 hits. Their run was back in the first. Alex Gordon led off against Justin Verlander and doubled. 3 batters later, Billy Butler singled him in. Alex struck out in his next 2 at bats against Verlander. That's Don Kelly taking over in right field for Brennan Bosch. Verlander has 8 strikeouts and 1 walk, and that 1 walk was way back in the first inning.
And that's when they had him in a little trouble. They were able to scratch one across. But at 96 pitches thrown, and you're a relief pitcher on the day that Verlander pitches, you pretty much can say, well, if he's on his game, we're not going to get much work. This is his 3rd game now where he's reached the 8th inning.
Curveball is popped up and right into the glove of Johnny Peralta. Fans, don't miss your chance to meet former Royal Willie Aikens. That's this Saturday from 3 to 4 p.m. at the Majestic Team Store here at Kauffman Stadium. Fans will have the exclusive opportunity to purchase the book, Willie Mays Aikens, Safe at Home, and have it personally signed by the Royals great. That's this Saturday, 3 to 4 o'clock at the Team Store before the Royals take on the Toronto Blue Jays.
I wonder if I can get in line and get out there and get one. Because that guy, I love watching him hit. He's a big power hitter. He can launch some balls. And then, you know, interesting to read what he's gone through.
Peralta goes up to bring it down, and that's the second time that Chris Getz is lined out.
Getz is still all over that ball. After getting 3 hits last night. He didn't have anything to show for it tonight, but he's hit the ball hard twice off of one of the best pitchers in baseball.
And Verlander will be dealing his 100th pitch of the night to Eric Hosmer. And Hosmer is 0 for 2 with a walk tonight, and that's news because Hosmer had a huge season last year against the Detroit Tigers. They probably spent a lot of time trying to come up with a strategy for him. It's the subject of our league leaders, brought to you by your Kansas City area Toyota dealers. Hosmer hit .339 with 4 home runs against the Tigers last season. He had his first 5-hit game in the big leagues against Detroit. And carried a 10-game hitting streak against the Tigers into tonight. He is the only Royal to walk, and now he's ahead 3 balls and 1 strike.
That's because Verlander's not giving him anything good to hit. He might come in here.
And Hosmer put a powerful swing on it. Miguel Cabrera brings it down in foul ground. 8 innings for Verlander. The last 7 scoreless. 5th inning. And we've got another Chevy call to the bullpen. Greg Holland will come on in the 9th inning. Royals got 6 2/3 innings from Danny Duffy. He gave up all 3 runs. Aaron Crow went an inning and a third, and now Greg Holland with a 2.03 ERA in 10 games in his career against the Tigers. And he'll get Ryan Rayburn, Johnny Peralta, and Alex Avila.
Okay, more hard throwers for the Tigers. Holland's got a good fastball, mid-90s. He's got all 4 pitches, but he don't usually use them in just a 1-inning stint. He'll go fastball, slider, and an occasional split finger. He feels like they're getting on his pitches.
Rayburn is flied out, grounded out twice. He is 0 for his last 21, just like Miguel Cabrera is 0 for his last 21. Hosmer coming down from first, and he calls off Quintero, and it's Rayburn 0 for his last 22. Greg Holland was warming up in the 9th inning yesterday afternoon, and Ned Yost did not want to have to bring him into a game where the Royals were down by 7, and that's when Ned decided to go with Mitch Meyer so that Greg Holland would be available tonight. And let's see if Greg Holland can take care of Johnny Peralta. Danny Duffy made very few mistakes tonight. Johnny Peralta has 3 of the Tigers' 7 hits, 2 doubles and a single against Duffy. Danny Duffy giving the Royals a season high 6 2/3 innings, and he struck out 7.
And only 1 walk. Power pitcher like that, if you're going to miss out over, and he did a couple times, going to hit him. 2 homers.
1 and 2. There's Jose Valverde getting ready for the bottom of the 9th inning. He has already blown a save this year, and that was a Justin Verlander game on opening day. Great pitch. Peralta is down for the first time tonight. 2 away.
Well, that's perfectly located. That fastball slider combination is plenty to get through hitters. As this ball looks like a fastball to Peralta, and it's broke away, and he's got to go.
And now Holland gets Alex Avila. He singled in the 7th inning. That was the last man to face Danny Duffy. Took a pitch in on his hands and just muscled it out into right field. And Johnny Peralta, the runner at first, tried to go to third, but Jeff Francoeur gunned him down. It was the second out of the inning. And then Aaron Crow came out of the bullpen and got the final out of the 7th. Royals in the bottom of the 9th will have Butler, Francoeur, and Moustakas. One and 1. Two balls and 1 strike on Avila.
Pretty interesting. Your father, Al Avila, is the vice president and assistant general manager of the team his son's playing for, the Tigers. His dad gets to watch his son play every game.
3 balls, 1 strike. And I remember when he first came up to the big leagues, and of course all the cameras would be on the booth where Al sits, and he's often in there with Al Kaline, the Hall of Famer for the Tigers and now part of their
front office, Dave Dombrowski, the president and general manager, and Dad would try and keep a straight face and not show any emotion when his son was at the plate. Couldn't be easy to do, though.
No.
Probably got it down to a science by now, having seen so many at-bats, but you can understand if he becomes a little more subjective every time this guy comes to the plate.
Yeah, and as talented as his son is, I think he just sits back in a rocking chair and watches him.
He went around and struck out. Holland faces 3, retires 3 with a couple of strikeouts. Will Verlander come out for the 9th? Down 3-1, and before we get to the bottom of the 9th, let's take another look at some of tonight's Mazda highlights and Greg Holland's top of the 9th.
Yeah, that slider was working. That was an overhand curve there. There was another one. And he got him to check swing. Good emotion over there by Mike Winters, the third base coach. I like to see passion from the umpires, where they ring guys up.
Show us you're in the game.
You're right.
Justin Verlander. He has been in this spot, or the Tigers at least have been in this spot, in all 3 of his starts. Pitching in the 9th inning with a 2-run lead. Throws a strike to Billy Butler. On opening day, the Tigers had a 2-0 lead. Verlander was pitching going into the 9th. But Jose Valverde took over in that inning and suffered a blown save. The Tigers ended up winning it in the bottom of the 9th. And then in his second start, that was Wednesday against Tampa Bay, Verlander had a 2-0 lead into the 9th, but he stayed in, only got 1 out, and gave up 4 runs. And Tampa Bay ended up winning the game 4-2. Valverde was warming up as the Tigers were batting in the 9th, but for the moment he is sitting down as Verlander falls behind Billy Butler. 2 balls and 1 strike.
His 108th pitch coming, and he still has a high 90s fastball.
And Billy drives it into left field for a leadoff hit. So Billy Butler continues to see Verlander well. He's 2 for 4 tonight, and now he's 16 out of 43 in his career.
Yeah, I bet Jim Leland's getting a little bit antsy. Look at him. He's coming up on that first step. Now he steps back down. He just moved Cabrera over to take away the doubles at third base.
Now Jason Bourgeois will run at first for Billy Butler.
I'm sure they've told Bourgeois about his quick feet and that quick move he's got over there.
Talking about Verlander and how he stays strong late in games. In 2006, in his rookie season. He pitched his first major league shutout right here at Kauffman Stadium and was throwing 99 miles an hour in the 9th inning.
He's well conditioned.
Francoeur trying to tie it with that swing. Francoeur struck out in the first, flied out to center in the fourth, which required a good running play by Austin Jackson, and then he struck out in the sixth. That was Verlander's 8th and most recent strikeout.
The swing was a little bit too long.
Oh, 0-2.
So he might just stay with that pitch, because Francoeur has been a little bit tardy on those first 2 swings. But he'll throw any of his pitches at any time.
To the right side, Inge runs it down and throws out Francoeur. That keeps a tying run at the plate. Bourgeois moves up to second base. Valverde along with left-hander Phil Cope. Good swing.
That's a good, short, quick swing. That's exactly what Kevin Seitzer said. In order to beat Verlander, they had to do stay short to the ball, let him provide the power, and try to stay on top of it.
Well, as tough as Verlander is, and Moustakas is 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts, you feel better after seeing him 3 times. And going up there for your first at bat, he's seen what Verlander has tonight. Doesn't mean it's hittable, but he sees the quality of his stuff, knows what's working for him. Thought he had a fastball, but he swings over a changeup. And then, of course, there's the yin to that yang. Justin Verlander sees what Mike Moustakas has been doing at the plate all night, and he can make an adjustment.
Right, so Francoeur's at bat. He blew the first one by him, and he said, all right, he was tardy on that. I'll give him another one. But Moustakas' first swing on his fastball was good. He was right on it, so he's not going to give him another one. He's got the power to get one out of here.
Blocked by Avila, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
So he doubled up with the changeup.
...114 pitches for Verlander. Before tonight, his season high was 105.
All right, they want to talk it out here. Verlander stepped off and told Avila to go through the signs again. So now there he covers his mouth up so nobody can mouth what he's wanting to say to him and to throw a certain pitch. You still have to look for his fastball and adjust to the off pitches, the off speed. You got to look heater all the way.
Rounded right to Inge. 2 outs with Bourgeois going to third. And now Humberto Quintero, who does not have a home run this year for the Royals. He has 3 doubles, and he's had as good a swings as anyone tonight against Verlander. He grounded out hard to Cabrera at third in his first at-bat, and then he had a solid base hit to left in the 5th.
He has the right approach. Short, quick, compact swing.
Count and away, ball one. 98 miles an hour on his 116th pitch of the night. Remember, his first fastball tonight was at 91.
He wasn't even close to his game speed.
Two balls and no strikes. Three and 0 with Mitch Meyer on deck. Three and 1. Quick scan of the scorecard, and I could be wrong, but I believe that is just the fourth time all night that a Royals hitter has seen a count with 3 balls in it. Past fielder and out into right field. It's a 3-2 game, and the tying run is on base. Humberto Quintero gets another good swing against Verlander. He is 2 out of 3.
Nice stroke short to the ball. Jim Leyland now has a decision to make. I think he's going to stay with Verlander. Let him go ahead and try to finish this one. Good approach there. See that short to the ball? His head position was perfect on that.
Mitch Meyer has 2 hits against Verlander. Mitch Meyer, who grew up in the Detroit area as a big Tigers fan. Third base umpire Mike Winters can say that he went around. No balls and 1 strike.
Hey, in the umpire's interpretation, did he make an attempt to swing at it?
Pitch number 122. 1 ball, 1 strike.
So Verlander puts the exact same pitch in that last one.
He's still 10 pitches away from his career high, 132. Blocked by Avila, 2 balls and 1 strike. Three balls and 1 strike. Verlander last year, he made 34 starts in winning the Cy Young and the MVP, pitched 251 innings, and on average about 105 pitches per start. So he's used to getting up there in pitch count, but this is going to be pitch number 125, and it's just his 3rd start of the year. And Meyer walks. So now the tying run is in scoring position. The winning run is at first. And Jim Leyland says 125 pitches is enough.
Yeah, I was wondering, but he gave Verlander every chance he could to complete his game and finish it himself. And there's a point where a manager has to be able to make a decision that's right for him, Verlander, and the team. He's going to talk to him. He hasn't necessarily raised his hand yet. He wants to see what he's feeling back. He's going to leave him in.
Oh.
Yeah, Verlander talked him out of it. Especially because of the earlier games this season where he's had them blown. He says, let me go ahead and finish it. Might be wondering why they don't pinch run for Quintero. Well, they have one extra infield, that's Betancourt, and he's nursing a sore ankle. Of course, Brian Pena, the backup catcher. So you would burn both of the rest of your bench if Ned went to a pinch runner.
Escobar is 0 for 3. He reached on a fielder's choice in the 5th inning and was part of a double steal. And he's hit by the pitch. Painful for the Royals. And we hope Escobar is all right. But now a base hit wouldn't just tie the game. Mitch Meyer, who has good speed at second base, a base hit could win the game.
Okay, this is a hard running in fastball. Ooh. Hits him on the forearm. Better on the forearm than on the elbow. Still painful. It's on his throwing arm. So that's head athletic trainer Nick Kinney giving him a little bit of love.
So the bases are loaded with 2 outs. The inning started with a base hit from Billy Butler. Bourgeois ran for him, and then Verlander got a couple of ground balls from Francoeur and Moustakas, but now a single, a walk, and a hit batter. And Alex takes one off the knuckles, 100 miles an hour, and maybe that's what Jim Leyland is keeping an eye on, is if he's trying to decide whether Verlander can continue to be effective this deep in the game and with this many pitches.
He's got plenty of velocity, and he wants to win. And the Royals badly want to win.
Lays off the high fastball, 1 ball and 1 strike.
Okay, so the middle infielders in Detroit are all back, so Mitch Meyer can get a pretty good lead at second base, and actually more on his secondary lead after the pitch is thrown. So he's looking around, he's getting all he can get.
Jose Valverde pitched yesterday in the Tigers' win at Chicago in a non-save situation, and he gave up a run on 3 hits. He also had a wild pitch. And late movement, but it didn't catch the corner. Now it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Pitch will be number 130. His career high is 132. And he goes with a changeup. So he not only has the stuff this late, but he has the guts this late, because it was a changeup that Alex hit for a double back in the 1st inning.
No, we're witnessing a true #1 starter here, and well decorated for it.
Fastball got him looking over the inside. 131 pitches for Justin Verlander, and he hangs on by a thread as the Royals come up with 4 base runners in the bottom of the 9th, but they leave the bases loaded and lose 3-2.
The last 2 pitches at 100 miles an hour. He earned it.
Finishes with his 9th strikeout. He gets his first win of the year and improves to 14-2 against the Royals in his career, and that's the most wins for Justin Verlander against any team in the American League. The Royals took it all the way to the final pitch. The Tigers hang on and win it by 1. We'll be right back.